Hello everybody, and welcome to another playthrough of Commands and Colors Ancients. We are back to look at the battle from the Cimbrian War, even though we will not see the Cimbri tribe here in this battle. This will be the Teutones and also some Ambrones. So the battle is called Aquae Sextiae. It was fought 102 BC. So well, you remember the last battle we played from this war, Arausio. It was a disaster for the Romans. That was 105 BC, and there has been during those time before Arausio, a string of battles going southwards for the Romans. So they are really in a crisis, and the climax was in Arausio when the Romans lost so many soldiers. It was a crisis, so after 105 BC or 104 BC, Gaius Marius was elected as the consul for this year. Actually, he was so successful that he was, I think he was elected 4 years in a row, even 5 perhaps. Because they needed a strong man to repel the Germanic tribes now. And there was other things he were doing that really needed him to, lead the army and country or state for a while. I think actually he was elected consul 7 times during his lifetime. And there's also, I think normally you would say you need to be, I think it's 10 years. After you have been a consul, they must pass 10 years before you can run for consulship once again. But they did overrule those rules, and he actually went to be a consul consul for many years in a row here. So, luckily for him, after Arausio, the Germanic tribes they didn't, attack Rome. Instead, they went on to west and went over to, I think, more over to Spain and so forth. At least the Ambrones and I think the Teutons did that. And they were away for a couple of years. So that gave Gaius Marius a good chance to reorganize the army, which was badly needed because of the manpower. So he did a lot of reforms here. He, for instance, he did get rid of that, the old system with triarii, principes, hastati, and velites. You were assigned a certain role in the army depending on your social status, basically, and how much money you had, right? And you had to be a landowner, basically, to be in the Roman, to be a legionary. He got rid of that. So now people from different social statuses, non-landowners, could join the army. And that was a big thing, because now he could swell the numbers in the army once more. Another thing he did was to, he kind of merged the Romans and his Italian allies into one. So all those guys could now be legionaries also, not only Romans in the legions, and then, the allies would be auxiliaries. Now everybody could join the legions. So that was also a big thing he did. And he also did, as I said, there were no more triarii and principes and so forth. So all the legionaries basically had the same equipment, meaning they had the pilum, they had the gladius, and I think it's called scutum or something like that, the shield they have, right? So good weaponry, a good shield, and good armor to everybody in the army. And it's reflected also in as we say hello to the red blocks, we get rid of the gray blocks now. I think we will see those again in the civil wars, but here's the like kind of new Roman type unit. You know, these guys have the same equipment. If you would look at the heavy infantry block, they would look somewhat the same. I think they now have the, I think it's called Lorica segmentata or something, the classical Roman legionary armor that you see in Asterix and all those comic books. Anyway, so this was the big reforms. He got the time to do it. He trained the army. He got a good army now, because later on the Germanic tribes was on the approach again towards Rome, or actually towards Roman provinces. This is Gallia Transalpina, I think. And at this point then, he took control of the army himself. He marched towards, this is in southern France, and there he kind of intercepted the path. He knew the Germanic tribes were coming, right? So he approached the place where he anticipated the barbarians to come, and he built a very strong Roman fortress, or fort, more of, over there. But, heavily defended. The Ambrones and the Teutonics arrived. They tried to lure the Romans to a battle, but Marius knew that, okay, these guys were just too many. I think it's said here, or at least the historical accounts says that there were 110,000 men in the barbaric horde. But it says here half that number is more likely estimate. Well, probably yes. But I think this might be, actually in the beginning there were more of these guys, because what we are seeing today is, I think you could say, the second battle of Aquae Sextiae, because there are some fighting going on a few days before this. We're gonna get back to that in a moment. Marius had 40,000 or over 40,000 legionaries, and he also brought some Ligurian auxiliaries with him. So some allies there that were, I think, not kind of legionary equipped, but more traditional auxiliaries of the Roman army. So yeah, so the barbarians were outside the Roman fort. They couldn't get the Romans out. There were even some brave warrior from over there who challenged Marius himself to a duel, but Marius wouldn't, go out and do that. He was a consul. He couldn't just, go into a hand-to-hand combat with some random guy out there, right? So that didn't happen. The Germanic tribes here standing around the fort tried to, they humiliated them. They, pretty much called the Romans to be sissies, to not dare to come out. But Marius knew he didn't want a new Arosio, right? I mean, if we had gone out and fight on the terms of the barbarians, there's a good chance the Romans would be, just swarmed and killed to the last man, basically. And he didn't want history to repeat in that way. The Roman soldiers in the camp, or in the fort, of course, honor was a big thing here, right? So they, of course, wanted to fight. But Marius said, guys, we are here to fight the barbarians, but this is not the right moment. But we will fight them, that's for sure. So just keep your head high. So days went by, nothing happened. The Romans refused to come out. So the barbarians actually decided to charge the fort. And they tried to do that, I think, for 3 days, but not successful. Every time they got, you know, hailed by javelins. They got repulsed on the walls. And Marius, I mean, he had expected all of this to happen, so he was prepared, because he was also prepared for the next stage when the barbarians had taken so many losses that they gave up the attempts to storm the fort again. So this time they tried with a siege, you know, try to, you know, fight with Roman hunger as the weapon, basically, right? So, but Marius had foreseen that as well. That could happen. So he had plenty, you know, stocks of food here in the fort. No problems. They could wait it out. Probably the much bigger horde outside would suffer from starvation before the Romans did. So after a few days of siege, they just saw that the Romans were in good shape. They got frustrated and started to pack up and to move away. And they were aiming to go to Massalia to plunder it. Okay, so Marius waited. It took several days for I mean, it's a gigantic horde of Germanic tribes here, right? So it took several days for them to pack up their camps, and they had loads of wagons. So all of those started to slowly, you know, march away from this field, or from the Roman fort, the vicinity of the Roman fort. Okay, so Marius waited. He was patient. So as the Germanic tribes had for sure been, you know, or had left the area, then he packed up and started marching after them. You know, just to wait for the right moment to strike. So he followed them, and every day he was camping always close to those guys, and every day the Romans set up a strong fort, you know, at the end of each day of marching. The barbarians saw that, of course. They had scouts out, and they didn't want to try another storm of the fort, because they had lost many men in the 3 days storming of the last Roman fort. So they didn't do that. And I think it's called, one of the reforms Marius did, I think it's called, or it's a saying that Marius mules. They call the legionaries as Marius mules, right? Because every man were carrying kind of a part of the fort to be constructed every night. But that was a successful strategy used by Marius, because he was never in a weak position, even though the barbarians were so many more. So at one point they closed up to Aquae Sextiae, and as the Romans were building the fort for the night after the march, they sent out some scouts to get water from a nearby river. When the men approached the watering place, they saw there were Ambrones, guys from Ambrones tribe there bathing, and so they knew that their camp was close by, and this was basically, you know, during I think it was towards the end of the day, because the Ambrones were eating, they were drinking, and, you know, not really in the mood for fighting, at least. But there was the alarm sounded, of course, because there were Romans here in the vicinity, and maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe there was some skirmish already happening here then. And the thing is, which is important to mention here, the Ambrones did for some reason camp some, you know, quite away from the Teutonic tribe. So they were kind of separated, kind of an Arausia, but the other way around, right? So they were separated. Anyway, it's said that Ligurians, who were the allies of the Romans here, they rushed forth to aid the water bearers who were kind of entangled here. I don't know if there was already a fighting going on. And the Ambrones were also alarmed, as I said, by the guys who were taking a bath in the water. So they also rushed to the field, and basically the Ligurians and the Brones arrayed for battle here. And it was a hard fighting, but the Ambrones, who were, many of them were drunk at this stage, because they were already eating their meal and started to drink for the night, right? So they were not in a good position to fight physically here. So the battle was going better for the Roman side, and eventually, I believe also regular legionaries were showing up, and that became too much for the Ambrones. They broke and were routed and slaughtered here. Marius at this point, of course, feared that the Teutons would arrive as well, and it would be a harder nut to crush with those guys. So he tried to do different things to lure them, and but basically he was expecting the battle to take place the day after with the Teutons, right? But he feared that because of this battle, the Romans were delayed in building their fort, so they were in a weak position here. So if the Teutons would attack, the Romans would not have any walls to retreat behind. But he did different things here. He sent off a force to, make big sounds in a forest nearby the Teutons, so they would be alerted all the time and kind of confused and not know what's happening with Romans attacking, or what was the flanking guys, or what are these sounds in the forest. And but apparently they didn't attack, and Marius also wanted them not to get a good night of sleep, so they're making all these sounds and stuff to keep the Teutones alerted all night. The next day came and no attack from the Teutons. So I think it was maybe even 4 days after, the Teutons arrayed themselves on the fields of Aquae Sextiae, waiting for the Romans. And this time Marius thought, okay, let's do it now. So he marched up, and he had time, as there were some days between the two battles, basically. He could scout the terrain, and he saw this nice ridge where he could deploy his troops to force the barbarians' attack uphill. And he knew these guys were frustrated, and there were Ambrones also here left who escaped the first battle that were hungry for vengeance. So Marius marched up the guys on the hill, telling the guys to stand here, stand their ground, don't back off, because if they do, they will have a good chance to win the battle, because they were forcing the barbarians to attack and fight uphill. So eventually Teutobod, the king of the Teutons, saw the Romans arraying for battle, and he just, blow the whistle all, over the top, guys. So they charged here uphill, and as anticipated, the Romans started with showering them with pila, and many of these guys of the Germanic, or the Teutons and Ambrones fell. They rendered the shields useless with the pila, and then they went into a close formation of Romans uphill. They didn't break, they didn't bulge, they just fought very hard, and even more barbarians were falling. They were becoming shaken here and started to slowly retreat, or more, the Romans were pushing them back downhill. So eventually the battle took place downhill here on the fields. The Germanic tribes were just basically pushed back. At that point, Marius, before the battle, he had sent over Marcellus with, I think, his 3,000 men to hide themselves in a some distance away here, just keeping silent. And suddenly, when the things were going badly for the Teutons, Marcellus arrived with his 3,000 men, screaming and, you know, just making a lot of noise, and the Germans, of course, they just, what on earth is this? Lots of people coming towards our rear, so they pretty much panicked, and this was the end of the battle, more or less. They just started to rout, or actually some of them got encircled as well, and they were basically hacked down because they were attacked from all the sides now, also from the rear, right? So, and they didn't have room to fight correctly because they were so cramped in that in the position they held. And so we are seeing kind of components from different battles here, right? If you remember back, we have you know, the ambush. I'm thinking of what's called the battle with the Punic army, with Hannibal sent his brother to do the ambush. I don't think it was Trasimenes, it was Trebia. I think it was River Trebia, right? And then, you know, also with the guys getting cramped in a central position here. I'm thinking of Cannae, you know, where the Romans in that situation got cramped. So Romans are kind of using their opponent's tactics here pretty good. Anyway, most of the Germanic tribes were, or actually Brones and Teutons were killed or, you know, enslaved here. The Cimbri is not present here. I think we'll see them in another battle later on, because there's another big battle happening during this war. But the threat from these guys were eliminated now, and it's said also that many of the Germanic tribes' women who were some pathway here from the battlefield, when they realized what happened, they just killed their children and themselves, you know, rather to become slaves to Romans. So a tragic ending there. And I think Teutobod himself was, he escaped with, I don't know how many, but thousands of warriors, but they got pursued, encircled, and eventually they actually got caught. So he was a prisoner of war here. Probably sent to Rome later on, of course, to be shown to the public. Because, of course, after this battle, there was much rejoicing in Rome. I think they held a 3 or even 5 days Thanksgiving to Gaius Marius after this battle, because this was so important. It was almost a miracle, you know. And that's also, you know, he just got elected as consul for, I think, two more years, actually. Yeah, I mean, in succession. Okay, I think that's enough for the history or the background of the battle. So if we look at the war council here, we have the Germanic tribes led by Teutobod, or Teutobodus, it said here. They have 5 command cards, and those guys will move first. The Roman army is led by Marius, and they will have 6 command cards. It's 1 more card for the Romans. So in the Solitaire system we use, we're gonna give them, the Romans, 1 more card in slot A. We'll fight till 6 banners, so not that many. Then we have the special rules, and that's Marcellus ambush. And these guys are placed over there at the Germanic tribe end of the battlefield. So when the Romans play a leadership or order light troops, because it's only light troops over there, it's auxiliaries and light infantry and light cavalry, then we can bring in those blocks into play. When playing a leadership any section or order light troops, the force enters in the section of the Roman player's choice. Otherwise, I think inspired leadership, the force enters in the section noted on the card. You know, it's inspired leadership left, for instance. When ordered, set the units on the baseline hex, which counts as one hex of the unit's move. Marcellus may be placed with any of these units. So it's cost 1 to enter. Should these Roman units have to retreat, they must retreat towards the Roman side of the battlefield. So these guys retreat as the other Romans do. Then we have the second one. This is Marius' legion's rule is in effect. So what does that mean? Let's check the chart here. It's basically it says what we need to do here. So Roman medium and heavy infantry. By the way, we don't have any heavy infantry in this battle, but we have mediums, a lot of them. They now have a fire range. They can, because now all the guys are equipped with Pila. So they move 1, as medium infantry usually do, and they have a fire range of 2. And there's an asterisk there, and it's just saying that it's Roman only. Use when Marius' legion's rule is in effect. So basic, javelin range, and they fire with 1 die if they move or not. So they have one die always. So they're not as effective as light infantry and other javelin throwers, or even auxilia if they're standing still. They have the 4 dice in close combat as previously, so I think there's nothing else. But it's basically that they now have ranged fire capability. That's the difference. So let's look at the armies then and talk some tactics here. So if you look at the Romans, we have first a line of skirmishers, or line, it's 3 units, but they have bow units. That's pretty new for the Roman army, right? They don't have bow units previously, too often at least. So here's 2 bowmen on the flanks, maybe they are Ligurians, I don't know. Then we have a light infantry here. This is kind of funny. If you look at it, they look like velites with the wolfskin thing here, but I don't know really what these guys represent after Marius' reforms. Maybe they had some remnants of velites still in use, or maybe these are just youngsters, who are agile and could run fast back and forth and throw in javelins. And maybe they used the wolfskin. I don't know. Maybe you guys know. Let me know in that case. It's interesting to know what these guys represent, really. Anyway, then we have, on both flanks, actually, we have an auxilia. I bet these guys are the Ligurians. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of medium heavies. So these are Roman and Italian legionaries. Back here we have the legionary cavalry, 2 mediums locking the flanks here. And we have 2 leaders in the main line. We have an unnamed one over here, and then we have Gaius Marius himself here with a legionary unit. Then we have Marcellus with his ambush force. So it's Marcellus himself, a light infantry, 2 auxilia infantry, and a light cavalry. So pretty light force. I will not bring in that, I think, too early, because they could be, they could basically be, hindered from retreating pretty easily, and they are mostly light, so they're not that strong, So I want to bring them in a moment where I feel it's, for them to be safe, more or less. So the Romans, if you talk tactics, we have the bow units already in range. We can start firing at the guys. And we are in a pretty good position. Okay, it's only 3 dice attacking downhill, but on the other hand, the enemy will only have 2 dice uphill. So we could take the first blows on the ridge here. I'm fine with that. So I think I'm gonna stay, use my skirmishers, and then we'll see what happens. So if we look at the Germanic Tribes, or Teutobod's army. So here's the man himself, and he's the only leader. That's also important. The Romans had 3 leaders in this battle. That makes a difference, that's for sure. But he's here with a medium heavy cavalry, probably some noble men there. Then on the right hand flank we have a light cavalry and a medium heavy cavalry. The main line consists of every other is a warrior and an auxilia. So the auxilia warriors, and so forth for the whole line here. Pretty many of them. Then we have a mirror of the right hand flank with a light on the very end and a medium heavy there. Up front we have 2 light infantry after skirmishers, but we have of course more skirmish capability with the auxilia there. So for the tactics there, I will try to replicate history. We need to get forward and attack those cowards uphill there, right? Roman cowards doesn't dare to come down and fight us. So now it's time. If they want to defend that hill, let's just attack them there then. Okay. So that's the thing. So by that, I believe we are ready to start the game. Let's see. The barbarians started the battle, I think I said. Let's see, I'm just gonna double check that. Yes, Germanic Tribes starts the battle. And so we're gonna check what they have in slot A and B before roll dice. So it's 2 units center and then 2 units right. Okay. Yeah, maybe we could start with some skirmishing over here if we get the right hand or the right 2 units. Let's see. But that was a CDE, so none of these cards. But on the other hand, we will see all the cards in the German hand. So it's a light troops, that's a good start. And outflanked, not bad either. And then 3 units left. But I think I go with the lights because this means we can order 5 light units. So we are lucky to get the first blow against these guys, right? I mean the bow unit here. We're gonna bring up the cavalry, some auxilia. Same here. These guys will move up, and these guys will move up. So these guys moved here. I put them there instead. These guys move up here. I want to. Bad thing is these guys don't have any retreat or evade path now. Is that good? Not sure. I think we might even move these 2 then. At least we are supported towards our line here in a better way. Let's do it like that. Okay, we can get an attack by the Roman cavalry now, but we can counter them in that case. These guys stays. These guys move up 1. And these guys moves up 2. That's it. So let's start over here. The light cavalry start throwing the javelins against that bow unit. They missed. And then we have the light infantry doing the same. Both missed. Then we have these guys. We'll start with the light infantry that have a 2 dice attack. Nothing. Then the auxilia. Nothing. And then the light horse. Nothing. No hits. Bad skirmishing initially from the Germanic tribes here. But we have lots in position here. I mean, imagine if we could... If this card that we replace with is Dark in the Sky. Okay. So we go to the Romans then. Let's check what they have in slot A and B. That's an coordinator attack. Oops. Lost a card there. Hold on. There we go. That's a double time. Interesting. Then we have 3 units right. Okay, so we could maybe counter here. Let's see what we can do. It's an A, B, or C, so we're also gonna check the card in slot C. So that's 2 on the right. So we have pretty much here on the right. We could attack those guys pretty hard. Man, we could even charge in with a double time and attack those guys. Maybe actually kill off a few of those. Man, this is tempting. We could, with a bit of luck, kill 2 units already in turn 1. That would be pretty nice. But of course, I'm leaving my good position here. Oh, I'm so tempted. Or, because then we could continue, you know, pressing on here with the right-hand side cards. I think I could do that because those guys, it's not sure they can counter, you know. Maybe they don't get the right card for it. We know we have a good hand to fight on our right hand. So I'm going to do that. So actually Marius himself takes command and orders a charge. So it's 4 units. Going to be at least these 3. The question is, should I bring on these guys with me or should I move those guys out of the way? I think I'll need to do that, but I can't use any ranged combat. So these guys will just relocate over here. And they cannot fire. And then we charge. Here, here, and here. Taking some Ligurians with them. I think that's a cool beginning. But I believe this guy here is wondering what on earth is happening there. We are just starting the fight and Marius just goes crazy. Okay. So let's start here against the light infantry. It's 4 dice. But they can ignore 1 flag, yeah. But we have leader support as the Roman player. So let's see, that's 3 hits and the flag. The flag they can ignore since they're supported, but they are taking 3 hits. So this is not going too well, but they're standing the ground and they can battle back. But they missed. Okay, then I'll take the Ligurians as the next one. It's 3 dice against that light cavalry, no evasion. 1 flag can be ignored. It's 1 hit. It's good. That's good enough because I imagine I can finish the job with Marius. Okay, these guys will battle back with 2. Got the flag there, but my Ligurians are actually supported thanks to me having the bow unit there back there. So these guys will not, they will stand their ground. Then comes Marius' attack. He will start with the light infantry. 4 dice, 1 hit needed. We got it. So these guys go away. We got the first Roman victory banner. Let's put it there. Yeah, I'm gonna go in and I can attack again and I will take that light cavalry as my target. And, well, this was a bad roll by Marius. He lost his momentum there. There's no hits actually. We got the flag, but these guys can ignore it. So that was unexpected. So they can now battle back. And they actually hit with 1. This is not a hit. Oh my, that was unexpected. Real hefty resistance of those younger riders there. So we're also gonna check if Marius is still on his horse or maybe he's on foot here. Oh no, what is this? Marius is taken prisoner probably here. Oh my. Oh my, that was unexpected. So actually the Germanic tribes get the victory banner because they got Marius. Can you believe that? That was an interesting start of this scenario. But so now they don't have that leader support I was hoping for a long term here. I mean, this could really give the barbarians some boost in the morale, right? They're seeing Marius dragged down from his horse and brought back through their lines. Let's see if the Romans can relieve him or get him released. So we're gonna replace the card over there, and wow, I like it. This is interesting. Marius, what did you do? I mean, Marius is the patient guy normally, right? I mean, now he was charging in with these legionaries and auxiliaries there and got whacked by a light cavalry. Okay, Germanic Tribes. That's a tactic card or lowest order count. So looking here, we don't have any tactics cards. So, but we have 2 cards with 2 units. So it's over on the right or in the center. I might take the chance now to attack those legionaries. So I'm gonna play 2 in the center. Where is this? Is the card I'm gonna play. And I'm gonna go in with these warriors. And I'm also gonna let's bring forth these guys. They will throw the javelins. These guys will move over here. So we're gonna throw a 1-die attack against that bow unit there. That's a miss. Then we have a charge. 4 dice, it's a full strength warrior. We got, well, only 1 hit though. Thought that could be a harder hitting guy, but nope. So those legionaries of Marius will now hit back with 4. And would Marius have been with them still, that would have been 3 hits, but now it's 0. Crazy. That's crazy. Okay, replace the card in slot A and go back to the Romans. They managed to hold their ground there. These guys are kind of sacrificing themselves to get the other guys to organize. Let's see. A or B. That's an coordinated attack. Move 5 move or 3 units right. I think I need to play the 3. Oh, did I do this by the way? Yes, I think I did it. I think I made a javelin throw there. Yeah. Okay. So back to the Romans. Coordinated attack. I could do something on every flank. Maybe not that bad. Or I go with 3 here. I think I need to press on here because I can use the card from slot B, so it would be 3 units over here. I'm gonna bring in some cavalry, and we're gonna slug with these guys. So the cavalry charges in to save the situation. 1, 2, 3. They're trying to get back Marius. He's sent back through the Germanic lines here. So let's see if there's any reason to do it in some certain order. I think I start with the cavalry attacking that light cavalry. It's 3 dice. They are supported, but this time we rolled a bit better. 2 hits, and the cavalry goes down, giving the Romans the second banner. These guys go here. They could go 1 more, and I will do that because I will ride towards the flank and attack the medium heavy cavalry of the barbarians there. 3 dice, they are not supported. A hit and a flag. Take first the hit. Then they need to retreat 3, but we can only go 2, so they lose 1 more block due to that. But they're not eliminated. These guys could go in, but I think I stay here. I cannot battle once more. But they surely repulsed that cavalry there. Now it would be nice to bring those guys actually, because we could, if we could get in this flank, we could, you know, maybe end the battle over here already. Anyway, we have some more stuff to do. So we start with these guys attacking those warriors with 4 dice. Oh man, again, would Marcellus, or not Marcellus, but Marius be with us, that would be a good roll. But now we got 0 hits. I mean, what's wrong with these dice? Okay, the warriors will now retaliate, and that's 1 hit and 2 flags actually. So 1 hit, then these guys would need to retreat back. Let's see where we should go, because we have still 2 units on the right hand flank. So let's go over here. Oh man, this is not going too well now for the Romans. Let's continue with these guys still. Let's do another charge of those warriors. 4 dice. Okay, we got at least 2 hits now. But they will hit back still with 4 dice because they started the battle with full strength. And they got 1 hit and 1 flag. We're still alive here with that legionary unit, but they need to retreat, so I go here. Maybe I should go here to keep them more in support there. Yeah. Okay. Well. Not an easy situation here. I mean, we have the Romans in a lead 2-1, but it's a chaotic situation over there. Let's see what the Germanic tribes can do about it. They got an A or B. So that's a counterattack or 2 units right. So it will be 2 units here or 3 units here if I play the counterattack. I think I play the counterattack and play 3 units over here. So I'm gonna counter charge. I don't want to be sitting there on the edge. I'm gonna for sure take these guys, and I will also take these guys into the battle now. So these guys march for 1, 1, and these go 1, 2, 3. We start here with the auxilia attacking that retreating legionary there. It's 3 dice. And no hits, but we got a flag, so these guys need to still retreat, and we are going after them. This cavalry unit will attack that cavalry, who cannot evade them. 3 dice. Got 1 hit. They're gonna battle back. No hits, but a flag. So we 1, 2, 3 return to the initial position. Now it's the question: should we attack here or here? Those guys will evade, but we'll roll the 4 dice. Here, those guys cannot retreat, but they are supported on the other hand. I'll take my chances on the cavalry actually. And they will evade, but I will roll 4 dice and all the blues are hits here. Okay, we got 1. I think it's good in the long run to cripple that cavalry. Then they evade 2 hexes, and these guys cannot, you know, go in and attack once more. But the important thing is, you know, these guys, scare those guys away so they cannot attack and kill the lone block unit there. So they are pretty safe now. Replace that card. Then we go to the Romans. It's a D or E. Let's see. That's 2 unknown cards. 3 unit center or 3 unit center. Okay, that's an easy choice. So what we could attack here. Then otherwise we need to leave that section and do some other stuff with the center section. Okay, let's play the E slot then. So I'm going to attack here. I'm going to start marching towards the flank with these guys. But these guys will rush up and attack. They try to save those guys if possible. Try to get those guys away and, you know, stand here before them. These guys march down. They will throw their pila against those guys. And these guys will also march one and throw their javelins. Yeah. So let's start with the attack. It's 4 dice. They are not supported. So it's 2 hits and 2 flags. So 2 hits on the auxilia. Then they are pressed backwards 2 hexes. 1, 2. I go here, I believe. We can gain ground. I will do that just, you know, to protect that lone block unit there. Then we'll throw the pila against the warriors. That's a flag. They need to take it. That's 2 hexes, I believe, with warriors. If I'm not wrong. Yeah, 2 retreat hexes. So they go back there. These are done. And then these guys throw against that warrior unit. 1 die. Miss. Interesting. That was that card, and then we have the Germans again. I mean, this is a high tempo battle. Things are happening very fast, I believe. Normally it's a lot of marching, you know, with the older phalanx styles battles, slow marching. This is so dynamic. Let's see. Germans. That's an A or B. 2 units right or coordinated attack. I think we need to do the coordinated because I want to do some stuff over here as well. So these warriors are still in good shape. They will attack. With a bit of luck, they can wade through 2 units of legionaries here if they roll good. In the center, well, let's just see if we can push those guys back with some javelin throwing. And over here, I will do a new light infantry attack here. Oh, wait a minute. Should we challenge that one with some javelin throwing? I think we might dare to do that. So I'm going to activate those guys. They will... maybe not. But let's activate them anyway. But they will not move. These will not move. And these will not move. So go to combat directly. We're going to throw 2 dice of javelin throwing from the light horse against the bows. No hits. The auxilia will try to scare off that light infantry there from fire range. But they missed as well. Then we have the warrior attack against that legionary unit. 4 dice. The legionary unit is supported though. So we got 2 hits and a flag. So 2 units down. Flag they can ignore, and they will do that because their main goal was to protect these guys, and now they also can battle back with 4 dice. Hopefully crippling that warrior unit. Yeah, they got 2 hits and a flag on those guys. So 2 down. And then, since they were full strength, they could ignore that flag. But since it's the Romans' turn next time, I believe I don't want to get slaughtered here, so I'm gonna retreat. Yeah, like that. Then we have the Romans. Bad skirmishing by the Germanic tribes there. The Romans get a C card or lowest order count. So that's a 3 or 3, 3, and this is not a section card. So I could either play 2 over here, or 3 in the center, or 1 in each section. Oh, okay, so what options do we have? If you play 2 over here, we could pull back those legionaries. Maybe we are done on this flank now, more or less. That could be something, but we kind of giving the barbarians 1 turn then for free, basically. If we play 3 in the center, what could we do with those? We could throw some javelins, we could march up some legionaries here, throw in the pila, and then prepare for the attack. Perhaps that could be something. And if we play the coordinated, we could fire here or attack maybe with the cavalry. We could fire here, and we could bring back one of these guys, I guess. Maybe that's something. Let's do something on each front. So I play the 1-1-1. I'm now gonna, since these guys are not supported, I will fire at those guys. And here I will fire, and these guys will just move backwards 1, trying to get away from those warriors and other guys there. So these guys throw the javelins against the warrior. 2 dice. A flag, we can ignore that. The Germanic tribe will sure do that. Here I will fire against that light cavalry. A double flag would be really good. No, not even a hit, so nothing happened there. Pretty lame turn, basically. Okay, that's it. I think I'm happy with the first session here, actually. So, well, we had the Romans in the lead 2-1. Lots of units in a bad shape here. I thought we would harvest a few more victory banners here, actually, but nope. And also, well, we have this flank pretty much unmolested. It's all the guys here are full strength, more or less, or actually they are. And same in the center, where, I mean, this center's cluster here. So maybe we'll see more action over here. Both sides are very exhausted on the right respective left flank there. And yeah, let's see what happens. I mean, on the other hand, if one could get some fast moving cavalry over here, they can harvest these 2, right? So maybe Tutobod himself could attack here, but it's a daring move. He needs 2 turns to pull that through as well. One interesting thing that I noticed when I pulled the last card up for the Romans is they got their light troops, so they could actually now get in Marcellus and his ambush. I mean, they have a few places they could do some attacks to harvest banners as well. So both sides have their options now to do some nice things here. Anyway, I end the session here. Let's see what happens next time. So all less, needed to say now is thanks for watching and see you again. Bye for now.